Midland, Texas, we got problems. I got a special interview with Judd Campbell. Judd, can you give a quick introduction as to who you are and why we are here on this special live here Monday before tomorrow, Tuesday, January 13th? It's a big day for Midland and the taxpaying citizens. Go ahead.
Hey, Nino. Yeah, I'm Judd Campbell, and I'm a citizen of Midland, and I want to see the best for Midland, and I want to see our city council do what's right, and they're not doing that right now. They're considering an agenda item tomorrow that's going to impose what they're calling a drainage fee. It's really a tax. It's going to be presumably about a $4.5 million tax that they're throwing on us this year for the next, in perpetuity, forever. It's going to be there. So, uh, and so I think it's wrong. I think the way they're going about it is wrong and dishonest, and I want to see us put a stop to it.
Okay, and Judd, what I have a problem with, I was at the council meeting, and luckily we had them defer it, but there's Tommy Gonzalez. And I'll say this, people always message me on Facebook when I tell them that Tommy Gonzalez is our city manager. He's from El Paso. They got rid of him there, and they hired him here. Bunch of problems. I'll leave it at that. But people tell me he was our guy. Good luck. And I say, pray for Midland. That's our city manager. This guy loves to spend our money, and he makes $350,000 a year. So I was at the city council meeting when they were talking about this proposed tax increase, which they're calling it a drainage fee. I call it a MISD rain tax. And the guy's there, I'm going to be completely honest, he was chomping at the bit trying to push this agenda for them to vote on to spend this money. So what's the issue with him saying that we have to spend this money, we have to pay for this drainage fee? Explain all of that real quick, Judd, because I think this is kind of disingenuous. If anything, it's not transparent to say the least.
Certainly, it's not. They're calling it a drainage fee. They're going to add it to your water bill, but it really has nothing to do with drainage at all. The city manager Tommy Gonzalez has said this is 100% for funding MISD related infrastructure projects that the city has agreed to do, and so it has nothing to do with our drainage. They're making some argument that city streets are the same as drainage. That's bull honky. It's not, and he knows it's not, and they're doing it anyway. We have a spending problem at our city. It's been a problem for years, for certainly the last several years. Since Tommy's been there, it's ballooned. So we've seen a 30% increase in our budget in the last couple of years. It's out of hand. We're spending way too much money. We need to cut the spending. We need to get that under control. We don't need to be going to our citizens and asking them to fund this out of hand, out of control spending.
Okay, so I was under the impression when I first heard about this, I was sitting there, we had caught wind of this. We were at the council meeting for hours because they put it at the very last on the agenda. Tomorrow they're having a council meeting. We're asking all Midlanders to join us. I will be there. Oil field legend Terry Garrett might be there. A lot of us are there, pissed off. We're upset. I don't want to pay an extra dollar. They are taxing us literally till we pass in this city, y'all. And that's the point. I don't care if it's $1, $6, $10 a month. That's my money. And I shouldn't have to pay for the MISD infrastructure. I didn't even vote for that damn bond to pass to get them new high schools in this city. And you said something on the video we just dropped on YouTube that, it's probably not going to be a big need for these schools now that, a bunch of illegals have been deported, and it's not like it really used to be in Midland, and then the price of oil is lower too. That's a whole nother topic that we'll probably touch on here in a minute. But the point is this, y'all. I don't care if it's $1 or $10. It's my money. And the bad thing is, if these people vote in tomorrow, if they voted tomorrow, we're all going to have this fee forever. There's nothing written where they're going to stop once they get the money. They're going to keep taxing us, and it's going to be for the MISD bond, what they failed to raise with that big old debacle. But the point is, like I said, for houses, I don't know exactly what the amount is, but like I said, even if it's $10 a month, $10, that's the money I can use to buy bread or eggs for my family, not give it to the city to go spend money on something I didn't even vote for. When I saw Tommy Gonzalez propose this, I was almost in my chair flipping out because he's showing how much Costco's going to pay, Walmart, all the big corporations are going to pay extra a month, if not $5 to $1,000 plus dollars a month. And we're going to end up eating that cost. And if you live here, you're going to pay for that as well. And what about people that own multiple properties? Who's going to pay that? Guys, this is crazy. Judd, would you say that this is unethical, borderline illegal? What's your whole take on this proposed drainage fee, which is actually a tax? What's your thought process on the whole thing?
Well, it's unethical. It's dishonest. It's not a drainage fee. That's not what its purpose is. And to call it that is dishonest. They're lying to us, and they don't have any accountability around it. They don't have any oversight around it. So we don't even know exactly how much this is going to raise, how much they're actually going to be taxing us. The details around it are scant. We're just not getting that information. But like you, Nino, it is not right for us to be going to the citizens and asking the citizens to pay more. That's the opposite of what we need to be doing. We need to be cutting spending at the city. We need to get that under control. Our budget is out of control, and we need to get that we need to take care of that. We need to be focused on that. It's not a drainage fee. Like you said, there is no sunset. There is no closure to this. The other thing is that what they're saying they need is $4.5 million a year for the next 3 years. The way this is working is really more like a tax, and so the logical question is, why didn't we just pass this as a tax? Why isn't this included in our property taxes? If you go back and you look at and they knew that they were going to have to do this when they passed the budget in the fall, and they did not include it. Presumably, they did not include it in the budget, or they wouldn't be asking for this now. So, if they had added this $4.5 million to the budget and to our tax bill, then the rate that they would have had to increase our taxes would have required them to take the tax increase to a vote of the people. And it would have been over what's called the voter approval rate. So we would be able to vote on raising our taxes to cover this amount of money. But by instituting it as a fee, calling it a fee and not a property tax increase, then the voters don't get a say. We don't get to vote on it. Those 7 people are going to sit up there and make that decision for us. And so, additionally, the other guardrails that are there around taxes that give benefits and protections from citizens for raising their taxes too much, those things aren't there. And so, the exemptions, other things that are in place to help protect people from undue burden from paying their property taxes, you don't have those protections when you just add it as a fee on the water bill. It's unethical, dishonest, and illegal. We shouldn't be doing it. We shouldn't be using this as a go around to take away the voice of the people on raising taxes on them. It's just not good, Nino, and it's not good for our Midland.
Okay, Andrew Young says, "What the hell? We definitely don't need higher property taxes." But this is a trick because I'm telling you, they are using a drainage fee that's covering a MISD bond to build new schools in our city. And I'm glad everybody on my Facebook page is watching this because this might pertain to Midland right here. But the whole situation in general, you need to start thinking about your city. That's why when I say MAGA, I look at my backyard. I'm always at them council meetings. We're always there telling them to quit trying to raise our taxes because we're sick and tired of it. Make America great again, to me, is starting in your own city. So what you need to learn from this, if they're doing this in my city, a supposedly conservative Christian Trump town, they're doing it in your town and they're raising these fees, and little do you even know they're doing it. And like he said, they can't really call it a property tax fee or tax increase because they'll be in hot water. So they trick you and they use this language when they write this bill, whatever the hell it is, this ordinance here, to raise your taxes on a utility fee. Now, my question is this, Judd. Did the voters approve of this at the ballot box? Did they know about this during the MISD bond, which I did not vote for? I was against that bond. Did the voters even know about this? And does most of Midland even know about this? I would say no, but go ahead.
No, certainly our leadership, our MISD leadership did not talk about this, did not talk about what the consequences were going to be. Our city leadership did not talk about it and did not share about what the consequences were going to be. Our city leadership, all of our city leaders have had the opportunity since that bond passed to talk about this issue and how it's going to be taken care of. Even last year, as the city and MISD are talking about this, they were in negotiations. Not that the public knew about that, but they were doing it, and they voted on it at the end of last summer to the city council, our city council voted to take on this $18 million obligation, and without talking about it with the city. The city leaders have not communicated this at all. Why isn't the mayor on Facebook Live right now? Why isn't the mayor putting something out that says,
Wow.
hey, I want my citizens to know I'm representing you and I'm trying to do what's best for you, and here's what's on the agenda, and telling us what's going on? But we don't have that leadership in Midland. And so many people don't know what's going on. And this is going to be a surprise when they get their February water bill, that there's this additional fee tacked on there.
Judd, how powerful. Why ain't the mayor on a Facebook Live? Why ain't the city representatives for all the districts on the live? You know what? I wrote John Norman days ago, no response. Many people that are pissed off, we're upset. Get ready, y'all. There's going to be fireworks tomorrow. We're going to live stream it. We're ready. And we got signs and everything. Midland better be ready for the, I don't even know what they even call us anymore, but we're going down there. We're going to say what's on our minds in our pocketbooks. But the point is, I wrote John Norman. He represents my district, District 2, Southeast Midland, Texas. No response. God bless Robin Poole. She responded. Jack Ladd responded to many of his people. And you know what he did? Copy and paste. Many people send me the message. Jack Ladd don't care. He looks like he's just reading a script from Tommy Gonzalez, because they say that there's no other way around this hogwash. Talk about, well, before we get to the solutions, everybody that's listening, y'all, maybe y'all need to hear a little bit about this. Judd, how does the local government work with district representatives? They vote on things. Can you give a quick rundown? Because I think a lot of people, they don't understand. I know I didn't at first. Now I know, and now I pay attention, and now I'm involved in my city politics heavily. How does all this work, and how is the city supposed to represent us? And give a rundown if you don't mind.
Yeah, so everybody, city council, there's 7 people on city council. It's the mayor and 6 city council people. They each get a vote. There are 2 at-large city council members, and so those 2 city council members represent the entire city. So everybody has those 2 representatives. Of course, the mayor is supposed to represent the entire city, so the mayor should be responsive to you also. And then everybody lives in a particular district. There's 4 districts in the city, and so you have a city councilman that represents your district. So I encourage everybody to reach out to those people. The at-large city council members are Robin Poole and John Burkholder. That, like I said, they represent the entire city. So reach out to them, and then reach out to your city councilman that represents your district. Those are the people that they should be answering to you. They serve you. That's the reason that they do. They're representing you, and so they need to hear your voice. I encourage everybody to email them tonight, in the morning, just whenever you can do it. Ahead of the meeting is best, because that lets them know before they go into the meeting how their constituents feel about this. Once they get into the meeting, then as many people that can be there, I think, is going to be great. Everybody that wants to speak will have an opportunity to speak. You get 3 minutes. They'll put you on the clock, but you should have your 3 minutes. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel knowledgeable, you just, whatever, you don't want to get up there and speak, that's fine. Still, if you can show up, your presence there speaks volumes. It is great for us to show up, and for the city council, for our leaders to know that people are paying attention, that they care, and they don't want this burden to be put on them.
And I'm calling on all patriots in Midland, Texas. You call yourself a patriot, you're against taxation without representation. You need to be there. I'm going to be there. Many of us are going to be there, because I want to say something. Even if they don't do what we want them to do, I'm going to go speak up, because I'll be damned if they spend my money on something I don't want them to spend it on. So let me stay focused here. I get kind of pissed off when people try to use my money that I work my ass off for in the oil field. It's very frustrating for someone like me. I'm not a politician. My question is this. What exactly is the connection between this fee and the MISD bond projects? And if the city manager said it's tied to the MISD, then why are they labeling it drainage?
Well, because they can. Not because they're supposed to, not because they're allowed to, but because that's the way that they can get it done. They think they can get it done if we can't stop them, right? So this is something that they figure they can put on the bill, that can get the money that they think they need to be able to make the obligations that they've agreed to pay MISD for. And look, you know, I think it was a major mistake for our school district to even propose a 1.4 billion, really a $3 billion bond when you factor in interest. I think it's ludicrous that we took that on, but they did it and it passed. And then it's ludicrous that we have $18 million burden on our city to improve the infrastructure related to this bond project. Why isn't MISD, why doesn't that $3 billion, there's some finagling room where they could take this on. But a lack of leadership at the city has allowed that not to happen. So as the citizens of Midland, look, you're going to pay taxes for MISD, you're going to be paying taxes for the bond, and you're going to be paying taxes to the city in the form of this drainage fee, certainly for the same thing, all the same project. It's just adding up. It's really a terrible, terrible situation and a lack of leadership from our city that we've put in this spot.
And when I was at the meeting, I saw the numbers that Tommy Gonzalez put up there. Horrendous. A lot of money that I believe is going to be double dipping. We're going to pay for it, right? I believe we're going to pay for that. If Costco, Walmart, and all these other people got to pay $800 to $1,000 a month extra on a drainage fee, this is crazy. I can't even, this is wild how this works. We're going to pay it on our property that we own. Renters are going to pay it. People that own multiple properties are concerned. And corporations in Midland, even Costco, the ones that got the government welfare from the city, and even the Omni, they're going to be paying for it too. So the problem is when they pay for it, they're going to pass the cost on to you. And another question real quick is, if there's no sunset, why should Midlanders pay forever for a cost that ends? Because it's not written in there that it will ever stop. Yet they're saying the money's for something, but will they ever lower the tax again? You know how these people are. Once they start taxing you, they're not going to stop taxing you, especially if it's not written in the bill. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're starting there. You're exactly right. Right. Once this gets into place, they could, in the proposal that they're going to vote on tomorrow, they could put a sunset in there. They could say, we're going to put this in for 3 years, and after 3 years, it goes back to zero. But they didn't do that. And so this is going to be in there in perpetuity. This is going to be there forever. It's a permanent solution for a temporary issue, and we're going to be paying it forever. And I have zero confidence that it will ever go down. Reality is it will go up at some point down the road. Something else is going to come along. They're going to want more money, and they're going to raise it, and they're going to come up with a reason to raise it. So it's going to go up. It's not going to go down. Those safeguards are not in place. That accountability, again, this is basic stuff. You know, if you want to manage the city in a way that respects the taxpayers, that respects our citizens, then you would do it. And this is going against that. It's disrespectful to our citizens. It's dishonest and it's unethical.
Shout out Kevin Williams. He says, when we did your podcast, you asked me what the biggest problem was. I answered that the taxing entities didn't communicate and work together. This is an example. Kevin Williams, he left Midland because he got tired of them taking property. You know, Ranchland Hills got taken away, and there's a big old debacle with the school being built there. Now it's the gift that keeps on giving. That's what Burkholder said at the meeting, and it's true. But Kevin Williams done left here because Midland just keeps taxing us. Every time we look at a bill or something or a bond, we have to fight, tooth and nail to stop these people from taxing us. This is freaking ridiculous. But again, there's Kevin Williams chiming in. Y'all check him out on the Save Ranchland Hills golf course page and group. Instrumental member of this, instrumental citizen of Midland, should I say. But it's right, y'all. It's horrible what they're trying to do to us, and we're going to expose it. Now, I got a question. Do you know what the rough range what the average homeowner and the businesses will pay? Do you know what the numbers are?
So for the residents, it's going to be, for most residents, it'll be between $60 to $100 a year that's going to be added on. For your smaller properties, less than about 1,000 square foot, then it will be smaller, be maybe $30 to $40 a year that are going to be added on. So it's going to be significant, and it's going to affect everybody that pays a water bill. If you get a water bill, it's going to be on there. So everybody is going to be paying this. For the businesses, it's going to be more. So it goes up from there. And I don't have all those numbers off the top of my head, but it goes up significantly. Of course, the issue with that is all of that's going to get passed on, right? The businesses don't actually pay the tax. That gets passed on the consumer. So we'll be paying that tax. It just increases the cost of living, a major issue in Midland. It comes up. It comes up in the elections. It comes up all the time. How can we make Midland be more affordable? This is, it's just opposed to that. It's making it less affordable, making it more unaffordable. However you want to say that, it's making things worse for the people of Midland. The people that are going to be here, we're talking about, the oil business is a big thing for Midland. Obviously, that's a big piece of our economy. Right now, the oil price is not where it has been. It's not as low as it's ever been, but it's not as high as it has been. The future is uncertain. But the people, the Midlanders that are going to be here through those ups and downs, those are the ones that are being impacted by this. And so, when oil goes down from here, there's going to be people leaving this town, and we're going to be the Midlanders that are here in those ups and downs. We're going to be the ones that are paying this bill, no matter what. And it is unethical. It's just wrong for us to be putting it on our citizens to do it when we have opportunities. We have funds available. We have reserve funds that are available that I think should be used exactly for this. Our mayor has said that we have about double what we need in reserve, what's recommended to be in reserve. So we have over 200 days of funds in reserve, and what you might call a rainy day fund. And the recommendation, sort of the target, good rule of thumb is 90 to 120 days. So we're about double that. That's about $50 million that we have sitting there that's what we've already paid, Nino. We've already paid that. So why don't we use the funds that we've already paid to cover these? I mean, it's just, and even if that's not there, look, if we sat down and go through the budget, there are so many areas. If we really cared about cutting spending, then we would do it. I mean, there's no other way to say it. If you wanted to do it, you would do it, and you would go in and you would take care of that. You would cut the spending, cut the waste, all of these things where we have money just going out the door. We spend money like it's going out of style, and we can't keep doing that. We don't need to keep doing that. It's terrible for Midland.
We keep warning these people, okay? And some of y'all might say, well, Nino, it's only $7, $10 a month for certain people. That's eggs and that's milk. Someone that's on a fixed income, $10 a month can make or break somebody. And I'm a fiscal conservative. I don't want to spend an extra dollar if I don't got to. And either way, it's my money, and I don't want to spend it on stuff like this. Andrew Young says this: the people that vote yes on the bonds and they end up leaving right after it passes, then we are stuck with it. Thank God, Midland, Texas actually made history, and Odessa, when we beat down the college bond, they try to push on us. We stopped them from doing that. And it's pretty sorry, the mayor, all the councilmen, they try to stop us from speaking at the city council meeting saying, hey, that's nothing to do with us. That's the Midland College hogwash. They were somehow involved. We proved it. But the point is, why don't the mayor tell us this? Why don't the mayor act more like Trump or more like Judd Campbell here and be honest and be blunt and tell us the truth instead of saying, well, I'm not going to, get involved and help sway somebody's opinion. The hell, you should be watching out for the taxpayer, Lori Blong. These people should be live right now, like you said earlier. Judd, why ain't they live talking about it? But they're going to be tomorrow voting on it, ain't they? But that's the point, though. Why don't they speak up? But Andrew has a great point. These bonds, they're hogwash. If you look it up, there's an awesome video. I did a reaction to it on YouTube, but they talk about the profiteers. When they pass these bonds, ladies and gentlemen, someone's getting paid. People that are part of the program that don't even really do nothing but give advice, I guess, consultants, firms, everybody puts their hands in the bucket and gets something, and then they leave, and me and you are stuck paying the payment. That's why I'm against any bond that any city tries to pass, because it's nothing but, I would say, wasteful spending, if anything. Now, I want to ask you this. You talked about the reserves. We do have reserves. So, in your opinion, what is the solution here, and what should Midlanders do today and maybe even tomorrow?
Well, we need to stop it. We got to stop spending money. And if we do that, then we can take care of the things that we need to take care of. But as opposed to trying to find more sources of revenue, what the city calls revenue, which means you and me paying the city more money. That's what they're looking at doing. That's what our city manager is focused on doing, is how can we get more money out of the citizens? That is a terrible way to be managing our budget. We need to be looking at how we're spending the money, and we need to cut that out. So we can do it. I mean, the budget, there are so many places in there that we could go in if we were serious about it. uh, we come to the end of the year, and you see there's tons of money where we've not, all of these departments, they haven't spent the money that was in their budget for last year. So you know what we do? We take that money and we say, okay, well, we're going to roll that money over so that you can spend it next year. You didn't need it last year, so we're going to add it to the fall. You didn't need it last year. We're going to add it to next year. Oh, and we're going to increase your budget also. So you actually spent less, but we're going to increase your budget so that it's more, and we're going to add that to it, and you end up just ballooning the budget. It's part of the reason that you've seen the budget go, again, 30% over the last couple of years is a huge increase. It's unacceptable. There's no reason for us to be spending this kind of money. We could cut the amount of money that we're spending. We could be managing this in a way that does not increase the burden on the taxpayers. It reduces the burden on the taxpayers. So those are things we just need to be focused on, those things, not looking for ways that we can get more money out of the citizens of Midland.
I'm just getting pissed off thinking about this right now. I kid you not. They're spending my freaking money. I mean, a sand hauler just took out 4 cars out there, I think, in Kermit, Texas. I risk my life every day on these roads. All of us do. If you wake up and go drive to Starbucks in the morning or take your kids to school, or God forbid your kids have a job, they're taking a risk in this city. It's a dangerous place to live at in Midland, Texas. Midland, Odessa, Texas is not a game. And for them to just use our money however they want, it really pisses me off, especially when you have a lot on the line, especially mouths to feed. I digress. So I have some more questions. Why wasn't there a clear public education campaign before even proposing this? Or better yet, let me ask you this question, Judd, and everybody else watching. How many residents even know about this tax increase they're fixing to pass tomorrow?
It's a great question. Why isn't there an information campaign? We have an information officer, Stuart Doreen. Why isn't Stuart putting out all of the facts on this? Why isn't he telling everybody, making sure that everybody knows? But he's not. Why isn't the mayor talking about it? Why are our city council members talking about it? That's a great question. I could guess what their rationale is, but the fact is most Midlanders don't know what's going on, and that makes it easier for them to be able to pass things like this and pass this burden on, because people aren't paying attention. People just don't know. I don't blame people. Look, Midlanders are out making a living. They're working hard. They're taking care of their families. Paying attention to what's going on in a 3-hour city council meeting every 2 weeks is not something that is easy for people to do. And so we need leadership that makes that so that people understand, so that we're communicating to our citizens. It's respect, Nino. It comes down to respecting our citizens. If we're doing that, then we're not doing this.
And they're always saying they were conspiracy theorists and we complain and all this and this, that, and the third. But it's just very odd. Just like you said about Doreen. Hey, I like the guy, right? But it's very odd. He's not talking about it, not bringing it up. There's MRT doing hit pieces on our candidates. You know what I'm saying? Doing all kinds of weird stuff. There's all kinds of weird connections in the city once you start paying attention. And they say that we just sit here and complain and point stuff out. No, you know what? Something is very amiss in Midland, Texas. And this is the point you need to watch, ladies and gentlemen. If it's happening here, it's happening in your city. There's a sewer in your city. There's a sewer in Midland, Texas. And we've been screaming it from the rooftops for years now. And if this is so defensible, then why not call it what it is and defend it openly, Tommy Gonzalez? And let me ask you another question. Is this being structured as a fee specifically to avoid tax increase requirements?
Well, quite possibly. I mean, the fact is, if we wanted to raise $4.5 million, which they've said is the goal of this fee, then if we did that in the form of a tax increase, it would require a vote of the citizens. And so by doing it this way, it avoided a vote of the citizens, so we don't get a vote. And, look, If that was the intent, I can't say, but that's the result. And so that's what you have to judge it by, is that we're not getting a vote on this. And if it were done as a property tax, then we would have a say. And we've avoided that. They're trying to avoid that by doing it as a fee. Disrespectful. Those words just keep coming up because it's just so obvious that that's what's going on. We don't have the transparency. This is something you and I've been talking about for a long time. Look, we need to have transparency and accountability in our city government. And time and time again, our city chooses to not do that. And here we go. This is another example of it.
And I'm sorry for bringing this up. I don't know if I said it earlier. We just did a video earlier. It's dropping on YouTube. That's going to be on them platforms. This is a live for Facebook. But we've contacted our representatives. Robin Poole answered me. Jack Ladd, again, I don't even remember if I even said this, y'all. We've been talking about this so much, but Jack Ladd responded to many of the people that I know. They sent me the message. He just copy and pasted a response. Jack Ladd is worthless. I wish we would have got Shandy Williams elected. I wish we would have got Judd Campbell elected as mayor. We wouldn't be in this situation with these people that just use our money for whatever the hell they want. Jack Ladd copy and pasted responses to many of his people. John Norman in my district never responded to me. Robin Poole responded. I think Burkholder responded. Hopefully he votes the right way. It seems like these people are going to pass this no matter what we do, y'all. But you know what? Like I said earlier, if they're going to spend my money, and that's my damn money, my parents' money, my community's money, I'm going to go say something about it. And hopefully they don't try to arrest me like they did last time. So the point is, y'all, these representatives we have, they're basically worthless. I'm going to be honest with you. I wish we had better elected officials, but this is what happens whenever you have voter apathy and nobody shows up and to vote these people out. They raise your taxes while you're asleep, and before you know it, in a month, when they pass this, if Tommy Gonzalez has his way, you're going to be paying more on your bill at the house, and you're going to be paying more when you go to old Costco to get you a steak or two, because this is what they do to us, because no one pays attention. So if anything, what would you do? Would you just get rid of this whole thing? What should Midlanders do before Tuesday? Give a rundown of what are the solutions and how we should act accordingly.
Well, Midlanders need to contact their city councilman. Like I said, we don't get to vote on it, so our voice is heard by contacting our city councilman. If you do that before the meeting, then they know before they walk in where you stand, where their constituents stand. So I encourage people to do that. If you can be there at the meeting, I think that's great. We need people there so they can see us. That's a visual way to show our voice. And if you feel comfortable speaking, speak at the meeting. That's great. They need to hear how we feel about it. If it were me, look, this would be off the table. There's just no reason for us to be doing it. There's no reason for us to be reaching into the pockets of our taxpayers for something like this. Frankly, if I had to do it, we wouldn't have ever gotten to this point, right? The number of missteps along the way that got us to this point where we're looking at having to fund this to begin with is just repeatedly a failure of leadership along the way. But given where we're at, look, we could take care of this without raising taxes on our citizens, without lying to our citizens, without disrespecting our citizens, by taking care of our house, by taking care of our spending, by being serious about running a conservative, fiscally conservative city, then we could do this. We could protect our citizens. And so that's what I'm asking our leaders to do.
And I'm just like, you know what? What's going to happen? Because we keep calling this out. We keep warning these people, quit spinning us into oblivion and putting us in debt forever. Did these people not take a Dave Ramsey class at their church? Then again, are the churches in Midland complicit with these leaders? Quit spending the money if you don't have it. But I'm going to ask you this. What is the common response? Because they keep saying this. Jack Ladd did it in his copy and paste of response here. It looks like he's just eating up Tommy Gonzalez's bullcrap, to be honest. But what is their response here? They're saying that basically they have to do this, right? Tommy Gonzalez don't want to issue a COI, whatever the hell it is. What is their actual response? And why do you think if they do pass it, what are they going to hang it on? Because to me, I believe that they think that they're just going to pass it no matter what because they have no other issues. What is their response to what we're telling them to do to not pass it?
Well, first of all, Jack Ladd is my representative, and I've reached out to him without a response. So I have have spoken with Robin Poole and John Burkholder. I, my impression is that Tommy Gonzalez wants to see this happen, that this is his plan, and he feels like and is expressing that this is the only way that they can meet this obligation. And so that's what they're riding on. And they are using the argument that a drainage fee can be used for road construction, that roads are a part of our drainage system, and so that's a justification for using a drainage fee for that. I think that's bull honky. I think that is. I think it's dishonest. I don't think that's legitimate. I don't think they're being forthright with us. It's just terrible. But I don't believe certainly that Tommy respects the citizens of Midland.
Hell no.
I think that and so he's put this forward, and we need Midlanders to speak up and make sure that our council knows that if they're going to vote for this, they're going to vote for it in contrast in conflict against what the citizens of Midland want to see happen.
And then there's Lori Blanc saying they never raise our taxes. Whatever, lady, you're just feeding us to death here. Shout out Midland Street News. Y'all give them a follow. Awesome. This is the best reporting agency in Midland. Midland Street News says people on Social Security got a 3% cost of living raise, and the insurance companies took that back, kind of like MCAD raised your taxes after the state lowered them. Then the city said they did not raise them. Shell game. So let me give a quick rundown before we let Judd go here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but let me say this. This is a fee versus tax. This is not usage based, and it's not a real utility fee. Remember that, y'all. This is tied to the MISD. If it's 100% related to the MISD projects, call it what it is. No sunset equals it's permanent. Temporary problem, permanent bill. Administration bloat. There's a new program, new overhead, more government in Midland, Texas. Pass-through pain. Commercial fees become higher prices for everybody. Double dipped, we got to pay extra when you go to Costco. Reserves exist. We believe they need to use the rainy day funds before they shake down the residents. Simple. Last but not least, transparency. Are they going to be transparent? Is this, are they going to release an audit? Is this just a blank check? Final words, go ahead, Judd Campbell.
Well, those are all great points, and I agree completely. Look, it is not respectful of the citizens. It's waste of money. It is an undue burden, an unnecessary burden. We have the resources available. There is no end date. There is no transparency about how it's going to be used. No accountability even to say, hey, look, we raised more money than what we needed to, so we're going to refund that to the citizens. I don't expect that. It's not in the bill. This is a permanent solution, as you said, permanent solution for a temporary issue. This is not good for Midlanders. Any way you look at it, it's disrespectful, it's dishonest, and we need to put a stop to it. We need our leaders to put a stop to it. They need to know how we feel. I encourage people to reach out, communicate to your city representatives, show up at the meeting if that's a possibility for you. Middle of the day, I get that it's hard to do that. But if that works for you, you're able to make it, do it. They need to see us. They need to hear us. They need to know that this is a real deal, that there are real people that are impacted by this. This isn't just something on paper that they get to play with. Like you said, it's not a game. This is real life for people.
And at the end of the day, it's my money and I need it now. And I don't want to spend it on crap, crap like the MISD bond, which I was against. I can't even say the words on here, y'all. I'm a nice Christian. I'm not going to curse here, but I'm pretty pissed off thinking about it. This is tied directly to the MISD situation that I was against. I didn't vote for. Huge tax debt and burden that I got to pay for now. And then they want us to pay more on this drainage fee. Call it what it is, Tommy Gonzalez. This is basically a rain tax, MISD tax here. It's not a drainage fee. You're just using that word because you don't want to tell the people the truth. Final words, Judd Campbell, go ahead.
Well, we just got to put a stop to it. And, stand up. Midlanders, stand up. Speak out. This is your city. These are your leaders, and they need to hear from you. And I pray for our city. I pray for our leaders. I pray that they make good, right decisions. And God bless Midland.
Judd Campbell, thank you. God bless you. Everybody watching, share this and be informed and get ready for tomorrow. We're going to be there. They ain't going to spend my money without me having to say so. God bless.